I gave the puppy figurine to Elton, but he preferred the kitten one because it reminded him of me, playful and proud. Just looking at it made him think of me, so he wanted to keep it with him at all times. He truly kept his word. Even now, the kitten figurine still sat in his office. I was afraid that after I died, Elton would just toss it away like trash, so I had to take it back and place it in front of Mom's headstone so it could stay with her in my place. When I arrived at Elton's office, I found him watching my interview right at the moment when my nose started to bleed. When he saw me enter, he didn't say a single word. He simply tossed his phone aside. I noticed that the spot where the ceramic kitten figurine used to sit was now empty. My heart sank and I asked anxiously, "Where's my kitten figurine?" Yvette spoke up, her smile smug. "Oh, you mean that kitten figurine? A few days ago, I said that it looked kind of cute, so Elton gave it to me. He even said I looked just like it, playful and proud. Honestly, what nonsense. I'm way prettier than that kitten. How could we possibly look alike?" I ignored Yvette and turned my glare on Elton, fury burning in my chest. "How could you give away something that belonged to me? My mom made that with her own hands, and you gave it to your mistress?" Elton gave a bastardous smile and shrugged. "That cat was yours? Sorry, I forgot. It's been sitting here for so long, I figured that it was just some worthless trinket." Before he could finish speaking, my rage took over. I grabbed the crystal ashtray from his desk and hurled it at him. Elton didn't even try to dodge it. The ashtray hit him square on the forehead, and blood began to run down immediately. Yvette screamed in shock. "Are you insane? You hit him over some stupid decoration." Elton stared at me coldly and ordered, "Yvette, give it back to her." Yvette stomped her foot in anger and stormed out of the office. When she returned, she was clutching the ceramic kitten figurine in her hand. She hurled it at me, yelling, "Here, take it. Who wants your stupid junk anyway? No one would pick it up even if it were tossed in the trash. Take your trash and get lost." The ceramic kitten figurine hit the floor and shattered into pieces. My heart felt like it had broken right along with it. The kitten figurine was gone, just like my life soon would be. At that moment, I felt like I was that kitten. My life was truly ending. A sharp buzzing filled my head, and I slapped Yvette hard across the face. "That was my mom's keepsake. How dare you break it?" I grabbed her, ready to hit her again, but Elton stepped in and held me back. I watched him stand there, protecting someone else, and I felt tears welling up in my eyes. I cried, "Elton, you've read the news. You know I'm dying. Why are you still hurting me? You're a bastard." Seeing me cry, Elton sighed. He softened and wiped away my tears. "First, it was the cake. Now, you're saying that you're dying. Hedy, do you enjoy messing with me? You don't need to act all pitiful. I'm not falling for your tears anymore." Before Elton could finish speaking, a drop of blood suddenly fell onto the back of his hand. I was having another nosebleed, but it was worse than ever this time. My vision went dark, and I collapsed without warning. Elton caught me in his arms, panic overwhelming his expression as he shouted, "Call an ambulance." Now, he had never panicked like this before, not even in gunfire or when enemies pointed weapons at him. He had never flinched. But now, all he could do was watch as my blood soaked through his shirt. I was dying, if there was still a chance. Before he hated me one last time, I hoped he would know that I had genuinely loved him for a long time. The ambulance's siren wailed through the city streets, a shrill, urgent sound that cut through the hum of traffic like a knife. Elton sat beside me, his suit jacket pressed against my nose to stem the bleeding, his hands trembling so violently I could feel the vibration through the fabric. His usually cold, sharp eyes were wide with a terror I'd never seen before, not when he'd faced rival gang leaders, not when he'd stared down gun barrels, not even when he'd built his criminal empire from the ground up. For the first time, the untouchable mafia boss looked small, lost, like a boy who just realized the world wasn't as in his control as he thought. Yvette had tried to climb into the ambulance too, her voice shrill with protests about being there for Elton, but one glare from him, hard, unforgiving, the kind that could make grown men cower, had sent her scurrying back to his car. He didn't even spare her a second glance. All his attention was on me, his thumb brushing my cheek in a gesture so gentle it felt foreign, like he was afraid I'd break if he pressed too hard. "Stay with me," he muttered over and over, like a prayer. "Just stay awake, Hedy. Please." I wanted to tell him it was okay, that the pain was fading, that I was tired more than anything, but my throat felt tight, my lips too heavy to move. All I could do was blink slowly, watching the blur of streetlights pass by the window, and think about Mom's pottery figurine. The kitten shattered on the floor of his office, just like the last piece of my connection to her. Just like me. When we reached the hospital, the doctors swarmed me, wheeling my gurney into an emergency room and barking orders that sounded like gibberish. Elton tried to follow, but a nurse blocked his path, her voice firm. "Sir, you'll have to wait outside. We need space to work." "Space?" He laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "That's my wife in there. You think I'm just gonna stand around and wait?" His hand drifted to the gun holster at his hip, a habit he never broke, even in public, and the nurse's eyes widened. She stepped back, but before Elton could push past her, a doctor in a white coat stepped forward, calm but unyielding. "Mr. Carter, I understand your concern, but if you want us to save her, you need to let us do our jobs. We'll update you as soon as we have news." Elton's jaw tightened. He stared at the closed door of the emergency room for a long moment, his fists clenched so tight his knuckles turned white, then finally stepped back. He didn't sit down. He just paced back and forth in the waiting room, his shoes clicking against the linoleum floor like a ticking clock. talk. Every time a nurse walked by, he pounced, bombarding them with questions. Is she okay? How's her blood pressure? When can I see her? Until they'd hurry away, looking flustered. I don't know how long I was in that emergency room. Time blurred, a mix of bright lights, cold needles, and the distant beep of a heart monitor. When I finally woke up, I was in a private hospital room, the curtains drawn to soften the sunlight. The first thing I saw was Elton. He was sitting in a chair beside my bed, his head resting on the edge of the mattress, his eyes closed. His forehead was still bandaged from where I'd hit him with the ashtray, a faint stain of dried blood seeping through the white gauze. He looked exhausted, his hair messy, his suit wrinkled, so different from the put-together, untouchable man I'd grown used to. I tried to move my hand to brush his hair back from his face, but even that small gesture sent a jolt of pain through my chest. I winced, and Elton's eyes flew open. Hedy? He sat up instantly, leaning forward, his hand covering mine. How are you feeling? Does it hurt? I'll get the nurse. I'm fine, I whispered, cutting him off. My voice was hoarse, barely audible. Just tired. He didn't let go of my hand. He just sat there, staring at me, like he was afraid I'd disappear if he looked away. The doctor talked to me, he said, his voice quiet. He said you have a hereditary disease, the same one your mom had. I nodded. I should have been surprised that he knew, should have wondered how he'd gotten the information, but I was too tired to care. Yeah, she died from it. I'll be next soon. His thumb brushed over the back of my hand, his touch trembling. Why didn't you tell me? He asked, his voice breaking. Why didn't you say anything? I laughed, a weak, breathless sound. Tell you what, that I was dying, that the woman you hate, who left you when you were broke, who you forced to marry you, who you've been punishing for years, was slowly fading away. You would have thought it was another trick, another way to get your attention. He flinched, like I'd slapped him. I wouldn't have. Hedy, you would have, I said, cutting him off again. You've never trusted me. Not since I left. You think everything I do is a game, a way to manipulate you. So why would this be any different? He fell silent. He stared at our joined hands, his jaw tight, and I could see the muscles in his neck working, like he was fighting back tears. I'm sorry, he said finally, his voice so quiet I almost didn't hear it. I'm sorry I didn't notice. I'm sorry I let Yvette. I'm sorry I hurt you. Apologies don't fix anything, Elton, I said. My eyes were getting heavy, the pain in my chest worsening. They don't bring back the kitten figurine. They don't make the pain go away, and they don't give me more time. I know, he said. He leaned forward, pressing his forehead to mine, his breath warm against my skin. But let me try. Let me make it right. Whatever you need, money, the best doctors, anything, I'll get it. Just, let me be here for you. Please.